This is the third of my videos on Durer's Melancholia, and in this one I examine some Kabbalistic themes which are buried quite deeply within the picture. I will start with the two most prominent features that have so far mostly escaped interpretation, and these are the two angels. Now, the first one has been identified as Gematria, the embodiment of geometry. But I think that's just a surface identification, and at a deeper level, both of these figures are very clearly angels, and both are male, although all angels have some measure of androgyny in their appearance, and these two are no exception. The name of the larger angel is coded in the magic square behind his head. The 16 numbers in the square add up to 136. This provides a Gematria value of the name of the angel Jophiel. In Hebrew, Jophiel means the beauty of God. So this is the angel of beauty. The theme of beauty in the image was identified in the first video through a strong connection with Plato's Hippias Major. Jophiel is affiliated with Jupiter and manifests as the intelligence of Jupiter. And we see this highlighted in the original Latin edition of Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy. You can see the value of his name, the spelling in Hebrew, and intelligentia Juvis, intelligence of Jupiter. Jophiel is also considered the angel of the zodiac, an angel of the divine presence, and a prince of the Torah. He is a powerful figure, and despite looking a bit gloomy, his power is possibly represented by the keys and the purse on his gown. If, however, the scratched out 6 is counted rather than the 5, the total rises to 137, and this is a value of Jophiel by an alternate spelling. This is a more common spelling used today, and it comes with a vav instead of a he as the second letter. See there the original spelling. 137 also supplies the word Kabbalah in Hebrew. And this is appropriate, considering Jophiel's role as a prince of the Torah. The 5-6 duality means there are actually 2 different squares of numbers, and they can be added independently. Put together, the 136 and the 137 make 273. And here is a Gematria value of Gematria in Hebrew. And it also gives us hikleis, the key in Greek. Gematria is the key that unlocks the meaning of this image. So, what of the cherub? Who is he? Does he have a name? Well, there are several clues to his identity. Firstly, he is a cherub, which is to say a small, chubby child with wings. And the designation was exactly the same in Durer's day. The name cherub is a European form of the Hebrew cherubim and refers to a class of angels which were throne bearers of God. He is sitting beside Jophiel, so we can say he is a companion of Jophiel. He's either writing with a pen or engraving with a burin on a tablet. His eyes are down and almost closed, so he's focused on his work, as if listening to something that he can hear in the background. He is sitting on a millstone, and the millstone is partly covered with a rug or a cloth. From these clues, a strong candidate emerges, an angel with 2 names. Firstly, his less common name is Galitzur, and he is better known as Horatial. Galitzer means revealer of the rock, or revealer of the stone. Here the rock or stone is an attribute of God. The cloth the cherub is sitting on is partly revealing the millstone, and it can be argued that his role is to uncover it. The more common name of the angel is Ratziel, which means the angel of secrets, or the mysteries of God. And Ratziel is a companion of Jophiel on 3 counts. In Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, we see that both angels are attributed to the second sephira on the Kabbalistic tree of life, Chochmah, which means wisdom. They are also both members of the cherubim and another angel group called the Ophanim. The latter means the wheels. Both groups guard the throne of God, but the wheels form part of the structure of the divine chariot, while the cherubim are more occupied with bearing the throne. Another connection is that they are both considered angels of the Torah, and therefore have strong connections with the Kabbalah. As the keeper of secrets and divine mysteries, Ratziel stayed in the presence of God and recorded everything he heard. He did not use a pen, but recorded the wisdom of God by engraving on tablets of sapphire stone. He wrote the Book of Ratziel, Sefer Ratziel HaMalach, which supposedly contained all the Kabbalistic knowledge given to Adam before the fall, and it was then passed down through the patriarchs to Abraham, and thence to Solomon. In the Zohar it is mentioned that the Book of Ratziel contained 1,500 keys to the mysteries of the universe. The Book of Ratziel was well known to Durer's Kabbalistic mentor, Johannes Reuchlin, as the latter quoted from it, the Prayer of Adam, in his work De Arte Cabalistica. So Durer was well placed to know all about Ratziel and his recording of the secrets of God. There's one more indication in the picture that we've identified the cherub correctly, and this is his very close physical proximity to the ladder. There may be an emblematic association via Greek Gematria. In Greek, klimakis is a small ladder and it has a value of 331. And this is exactly the value of a Ratziel in Hebrew. Meanwhile, with the definite article, the ladder, he klimakis, is valued at 339. And here is the value of Galitzer. If we now put together the 2 companion angels, Jophiel and Galitzer, the value of their names is 137 plus 339, making a combined total of 476. And this is the value of the Hebrew word sodoth, which means the secrets, or specifically the secrets of the Kabbalah. In the singular, sod is the highest and most secret of the 4 levels of teaching of the Torah. Let's now go to an overview of the Hebrew Kabbalah. From the 5th century BCE, when the works of the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, were edited and canonized, esoteric knowledge was divided into Maaseh Merkava and Maaseh Bereshit, work of the chariot and work of creation. Merkava mysticism entailed secret knowledge related to Ezekiel's vision of the divine chariot, and this is described in the 1st and 10th chapters of Ezekiel. Bereshit mysticism was concerned with creation in the 1st chapter of Genesis. Now, the Gematria value of Melencolia I is 192. The notaricon value, the value of the first letter of each word, is 39. 39 is the value of the Hebrew word let, which means secret arts or magic arts. 39 and 192 make 231. 231 is significant as the number of gates, or permutations of the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet described in the Book of Creation, the Sefer Yetzirah. It was by these gates that the world was created. The most critical number here, though, is 192. This is the value of ha'ofanim, the wheels. This is a name used in Ezekiel for the wheels of the Merkava, the chariot or the throne of God. If we now return to an image from the previous video on geometry, we see the extended hexagon or truncated rhombus points to the date, but more precisely it points to the number 15. This is also the termination of the original construction line, the other end of which is a stone sphere. Why should the number 15 be so important? Well, there are 1,500 keys to the mysteries of the universe in the Sefer Ratziel, the book of Ratziel, the angel, the cherub. Noah's flood was 15 cubits deep and lasted for 150 days. There were 15 degrees of prayer. Psalms 120 to 134 are the Psalms of degrees, the Psalms of ascent, and it's a rising ascent of prayer. Another rise in 15 steps is the way to the porch of the Temple of Solomon, the east porch, I believe. There were 15 steps to the temple. And from the two preceding examples, it was generally taken that there were 15 steps on Jacob's ladder, which links heaven to earth. 15 is also the Gematria value of Jah, the sacred name of God associated with Chokmah, the second Sephirah on the Tree of Life, and the abbreviation of the Tetragrammaton. And with these associations, 15 was almost universally understood to refer to 15 steps to approach the throne of God. And there are some references to these 15s in the book Silent Poetry by Alistair Fowler, if anyone wants to look it up. So now we have two angels of the Holy Presence, both associated with the wheels of the chariot. We have the Gematria value of the wheels in the banner carried by the bat. There is a ladder going up to heaven, and now the number 15 signifying an approach to the throne of God. We need to understand how the Merkava can be represented visually. Pictures of it vary considerably, because what Ezekiel describes is not entirely coherent. There are usually three main components. These are wheels, which may be attached to a realistic chariot, or free-floating. There are living creatures, usually 4 of them, and each has 4 faces, and then there is an enthroned figure of God in a blaze of light. The imagery in Melencolia is already complex because there are layers of meaning built into it, telling different stories. For example, the flying creature has already been identified as a bat snake and a flying fox, heralding the arrival of the dog star. But there is room for one more level, I think. So let's look at Ezekiel's actual words. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud and a fire enfolding itself, and brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the colour of amber, out of the midst of fire. And the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. So we see here there are 4 living creatures in Durer's picture. There is a rainbow, and there is an extraordinary burst of light in the sky. The largest living creature has the likeness of a man. And everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings. So 4 creatures had 4 faces. That's 16 faces. And we see in the magic square there are 16 numbers, 4 rows and 4 columns, 4 by 4. Now, as I beheld the living creatures, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. There is a stone sphere as a wheel on the earth, and in the sky the extension of the rainbow makes a large wheel. The 2 layers, the outer layer and the inner layer of the rainbow, create perhaps 2 wheels. And their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. The living creature of the bat-fox hybrid is right in the middle of the wheels, especially if we raise up the sphere from the earth to the sky. And in chapter 10 of Ezekiel we find a summary. This is a living creature that I saw under the God of Israel by the river of Chebar, and I knew that they were the cherubim. Here the river Chebar is an anagram in Hebrew of rechev, meaning a chariot. And the cherubim, the 2 angelic figures, are the dominant figures in the picture. The Hebrew word cherubim has a Gematria value of 278, and this is the same as the stone which the builders rejected. Perhaps these cherubim are looking so glum and melancholy because the stone they've been working on has been rejected. The singular form, cherub, has a Gematria value of 228, and this equates it with the molten calf. This was the idol that Aaron crafted with an engraving tool in Exodus 32:4, and that made Yahweh quite irate. Indeed, his wrath waxed sufficiently hot to order the sons of Levi to massacre the 3,000 Israelite men. There is, however, a more mysterious possibility. The same 2 words as molten calf have 2 entirely different meanings in Hebrew, although obviously the same Gematria value. The 3 letters spelling calf, Ayin, Gimel, Lamed, also have the meaning of round or circular. And the 4 letters spelling molten or cast, Mim, Samech, Kaf, He, have the meaning of a curtain, a covering or veil. So the cherub is associated with the covering of the millstone around on which he is sitting. And this is more than suitable if his name is Keletzur, revealer of the rock, or revealer of the stone. If you found these 3 videos on Melancholia interesting or entertaining, please subscribe to my channel and click the like button. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you.